Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Games on Quick Hotfix. Today, we are going to be showcasing Kiwami 2 Majima Saga. Before we get into it, just a few quick reminders. You can now join the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix role, where you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff, and more. You can use !Discord in Twitch chat for more information. Also, if you haven't missed out on any of our shows or events, you can go check out the VODs over at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. We'll hand it over to our runner here. Let her introduce herself.
Well, hello there, everybody. Are you ready for possibly the first Christmas game on Hotfix in December? Question mark. Because guess what? This is Christmas game. Because Yakuza 0, 1, and 2 are Christmas games, and potentially 5. But that's neither here nor there. This is the Majima Saga, which is the in-between events of Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2. So it's the in-between, and there's a throwback to 0 that you won't be seeing! But yeah, without any further ado, shall we get started? The game is going to ask me to save because it won't let you play until you hit yes. So in 3, 2, 1, let us begin the run. So yeah, this is Majima Saga. It's actually the first time Yamai's voice actor shows up in the series. Fun fact, Yamai's voice actor is the villain of Majima Saga. So that's also a thing. Did you also know that voice actor is the voice of Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as well as Zex Marquise from Gundam Wing? Because, yes. So we're skipping some cutscenes here, and then we get control of Majima. This is actually fairly short. There are 2 categories for Majima Saga. One is all street bosses. The other one is any percent, which is what we are witnessing now. It goes really fast because we're going to skip as many fights as humanly possible. The world is littered with them, but we have ways to get around them. So right now, this fun fellow is going to be the sub-boss before the final boss. It's basically 2 fights back to back. But yeah, he decides to cause a whole bunch of trouble for Majima. But we're not going to witness that trouble because we don't got time for cutscenes. So we're gonna run up here to get into our first fight. And like I said, there are fights littered all over the map. You can kind of see them on the mini-map sometimes. Also, the game does weird things where you can only skip half of a cutscene. So that's a thing. So here we go. And we're going to want them to group up as much as possible, so I'm immediately going to run away and then spin to win. And maybe the enemy AI will be nice and not be aggressive. That happened yesterday. So there we go, the fight is over. And now, the game tells us where we want to go. And we're going to ignore that and head into the Millennium Tower in order to skip a fight. Because there's no one in the Millennium Tower. So what a better way to get around enemies. So some runners will take the stairs. I like to jump over the railing because it looks cool. There's no real rhyme or reason. I think it's actually a little bit slower to do that, but I also don't have time for stairs. Who has time for stairs as he runs upstairs? But right now we're heading to our headquarters, and Majima's in for some bad news. As we run over here, and oh no, his entire crew has been taken out. Who could have done that? Well, we have our suspect. But oh, is Majima in for some bad news? Now, these skulls on the map are street bosses. Again, street bosses are for all street bosses. So we're not going to bother fighting them, and we're just going to head to Pink Street right away. We take a lot of cabs in any percent. There's more actual running in in all street bosses because, you know, we're just trying to get to the street bosses as fast as possible. And cabs are a really bad way to do that. So here we go, running casually. Again, it's a bit of RNG how populated the streets get. So far, so good. And bam, that's the end of Chapter 1. And oh no, Majima's rival has been murdered. And he's the prime suspect because, you know, that makes perfect sense. Also, the game is going to ask you to save every single time. Luckily, you can just press circle and you're good. I wish more games did that instead of making not saving so convoluted. Resident Evil 4, Twilight Princess, I'm looking at you. So again, Majima has been accused, so now he has to go to the Millennium Tower and see the surveillance. However, his rival's family is kind of angry at him right now, so we get into our next fight. So here we go, wait for them to kind of bunch up. Again, sometimes it doesn't always want to work. Wow, okay. Again, it's pretty random whether how aggressive the enemy AI wants to be and whatnot. So there we go, nice fight. And of course, there are now enemies standing in front of the Millennium Tower, but little do they know that I can take a cab directly in front of the Millennium Tower, passing the fight completely.
That's fantastic.
Like I said, we take a lot of cabs. So we go this way. If you were doing all street bosses, you would go to the right, but since this is any percent, cab on the left. Also, bikes like to get in the way sometimes. So, right in front of the Millennium Tower. And then once again, we're going to jump down, because, I don't know, it looks cool. I actually have no idea what the time difference is between the two, but obviously if you're running down the stairs, you're not going to have that brief second of trying to stand back up. But it's fine. And of course, Majima gets to see the surveillance and is off to Osaka. Because he's got to relive old memories of Yakuza 0. This only makes sense if you've played Yakuza 0. You would understand why he doesn't want to be here. So, we are running to yet another cab. Majima, can you not do whatever it is that you just did? So here we go. For the context, though, because I'll tell you the context, in Yakuza 0, Majima has been banished here and is the cabaret manager of the Grand. You don't find out why he was banished here until Yakuza 4, but of course Yakuza 4 came out before 0, so you find out why he was banished here, and then Yakuza 0, you play that out. Also, it's been like 18 years since Yakuza 0, because Yakuza 0 takes place in 1988, and this takes place in 2006. Although right now it's 2005? So, 2005. I can't remember if this takes directly after Yakuza 0 or not, or Yakuza Kiwami 1 / Yakuza 1. Because Kiwami 1 is just a remake of 1, and Kiwami 2 is a remake of 2. So now that we've taken care of them, we once again go take a cab. We also ignore all of these phone calls. In later Yakuza games, I don't know if 7 starts it, but eventually we can just open the map and take cabs. It's lovely in Infinite Wealth. So here we go. Fun fact, I haven't played Yakuza 6 or 7 yet. I know, blasphemy. But here we go. Take this fight. You would take this fight in easy, you wouldn't take it in normal or hard. You would try to skip this fight. There we go. And then we move on to the end of the chapter. This is also a Yakuza 0 reference, but you would only know that if you watch the cutscene in full. But we're not going to do that. Also, that's the end of Chapter 2. To fully unlock Majima Saga, you must beat Kiryu 100% to get all the chapters. You can periodically, unlock Chapter 1 and 2. I think Chapter 2 unlocks at, Chapter 10 of Kiryu. And so it's like, aha, So there we go. And now in Chapter 3, all we're doing is running to the final boss fight. And once again, there's a cab directly behind me. You can... Majima doesn't get, like, stats or anything. So if you didn't want to deal with, like, the stat menuing and stuff, you could do Majima Saga because there's nothing to really worry about. And the game gives you quite a bit of an inventory, so you're pretty okay to not go into stores and buy stuff. So Kawamura's a traitor. He's caused some mischief. We now have to teach him a lesson. And hopefully he's nice. So again, we're just going spin to win. I was not close enough. Usually if he's starting to shoot, you want to go for a heat move, but it also depends how close you are. Again, we don't really use heat moves all that much. Also, I love Dragon Engine physics, because even though he's knocked down in the heat move, he's still up for a second, so you can give him an extra kick. And now, for what the Yakuza series is known for, amazing boss fight intros. I'm just gonna let this play. I always love the boss intros in this game, in these games. They're so good.
They're fantastic.
So Ibushi is the same way. You just want to spin to win, and if he starts shooting, you want to heat move. But when he turns red, that's when it becomes scary, because he gets a grab move where he just gets a free hit in. It will most likely happen. It's just a fact. Nice. I think that he was actually going for said grab move. And then if I can heat move him... No, that wouldn't kill. But close. And that's time. And that was Majima Saga. Ta-da! And then, you know, things happen. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. If you want to see Yakuza content, you should follow twitch.tv/froob, and also twitch.tv/pandemonium, and twitch.tv/bignono. I'm currently going through Zelda games, so if you want to see Zelda, then, you know, that's what you come to me for, because I'm currently running Twilight Princess HD. Among other things, I might do an Infinite Wealth run at some point this month.
Yeah.
But I'm doing Zelda runs right now. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. Thank you for showcasing the Yakuza Kiwami 2. I know you've been doing Zelda, so it's awesome that you were able to show this off for us. And yeah, definitely check out Abby, very great speedrunner, does a whole bunch of things. A lot of horror games too, so if you're into that, she'll get back to them eventually, probably. Yeah. So that is all for us. We do have another show coming up. We've got Passion Project coming up, so we're going to take a break. We'll be back with that in just a few minutes. And just a reminder before we do go to that break, your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits shared on the GDQ Twitch channel do help us support the game with quick hotfix. So if you like watching any of our regular content, like Passion Project, Speedruns from Crypt, anything like that, any of these specials that we put on, it really does help us put on this content. So if you could consider subscribing to the channel, you'll also get access to our emotes, and you'll be able to chat with other subscribers during our replays. With all that said, we're going to take our break, and we'll be back with Passion Project in just a few minutes here, everyone.